Today's fable is called Arguing with Word.
Guess I was working on a novella. The rough draft was finished, but very rough, and the rewrite was proceeding. Said rewrite was going a little slower than I'd like, but for the most part, there was good reason. Aside from the usual typos and word choice snafu and missing words that either have to be ruthlessly exterminated or added back, there was also a great deal of mythological minutia that had to be accurately rendered, including reasonable extrapolation of what might happen when two very different mythological cosmos collided. Additional research was required. Also, not inconsiderable fallout from the fact that the story started as one thing and grew into something very different. Can you say continuity errors? I knew you could. So I was more or less prepared for all of that. I was not prepared for me wasting 20 minutes of rewrite time arguing with Word over the correct usage of who and whom as the rewrite sometimes required. I wrote a new sentence. Word insisted that the sentence was grammatically incorrect. Loath as I am to question a computer's accuracy, I disagreed. Word insisted I change it. I pushed the little button that supposedly explains why Word wants me to edit my lovely prose on the fly. Word said I was using whom as the subject of a clause. I said I wasn't. I was clearly using whom as the object of the prepositional phrase beginning with. All the while this was going on, I was reminded of how ridiculous the whole thing was by remembering a George Carlin routine about having an argument with his breakfast cereal where he distinctly heard the cereal say, snap, crackle, FM. In my defense, I note that at least Word has a rudimentary working, which elevates it in this context above the level of breakfast cereal, if only barely. Still pretty ridiculous. To cut to the chase, I looked up the grammatical rules online for the generation where we still had to break down and diagram a sentence into its component parts, identifying those parts. I loathed diagramming then and loathe it now, but it still gave me a decent ear for the language. And I was still sure I was right and told Word to stop arguing with me. That afternoon, I relayed the incident to a first reader who agreed that I was correct, but in addition was able, thanks to her English degree, to cite the specific rule, in the process explaining how Word got confused. Whom was part of a short prepositional phrase, which Word mistook for a clause, which demands a subject, which in turn would have called for the nominative, not the objective case. An easy enough mistake for either a human or an algorithm to make. Regardless, I was right. Hereby claim victory in the battle of whom, which I reiterate, took 20 minutes of precious rewrite time when I should have been in bed an hour ago. It's amazing. I get any work done at all.